Port flapping. The flickering light switch. Think of port flapping like a light switch that keeps flipping on and off every few seconds without you touching it. In a computer network, this happens at the physical port where you plug in your network cable. One moment the computer is connected and everything is fine, and the next moment the connection completely vanishes. A few seconds later, it pops back up, only to disappear again shortly after. This constant, up and down cycle makes it impossible to get any work done. The frayed connection. Most of the time, port flapping is caused by a physical problem with the hardware. Imagine a garden hose with a small crack right where it connects to the faucet. If you hold it perfectly still, the water flows fine, but if the hose moves even an inch, it starts to leak. Network cables are the same way. If the copper wires inside a cable are frayed, or if the little plastic clip on the end of the plug is broken, the connection becomes loose. Even a tiny vibration from someone walking past the desk can cause the electrical signal to break and then reconnect, triggering a flap. The dying hardware. Sometimes the problem isn't the cable itself, but the socket it is plugged into. Every network switch and computer has a port that receives the data. If the internal electronics of that port are starting to fail, they might overheat or short circuit. When the port gets too hot, it shuts itself down to stay safe. Once it cools down a few seconds later, it tries to turn back on. This creates a loop where the port is constantly trying to breathe, but keeps choking and restarting. Mismatched speeds. Another reason for port flapping is a disagreement between the computer and the network switch. When you first plug in a cable, the two devices have a quick digital conversation to decide how fast they should talk to each other. This is called auto-negotiation. If the computer thinks it should talk at a super fast speed, but the switch thinks it should go slow, they will keep disconnecting and trying to renegotiate over and over again. They are stuck in a cycle of trying to find a common language but failing, which causes the connection to flap up and down. How a technician stops the flapping. The first thing a technician will do is swap out the network cable for a brand new one to see if the loose hose was the problem. If that doesn't work, they might try plugging the computer into a different port on the wall or the switch to see if the hardware itself is dying. Finally, they can log into the switch's settings and manually force the port to stay at one specific speed. By telling both devices exactly how to behave, you stop the digital argument and force the connection to stay steady and solid.